Hey yo, welcome back to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. My name is Ronald Two Legs, and as always, I am joined with AIW owner John Thorne. What's up, Thorne?
We are back after, again, not keeping our promise of podcasting consistently. But the holiday season, the holiday season just overtakes people's lives, I suppose.
December.
It was our birthday season, too, so.
Yeah, December's a tough one for me with birthday and Christmas and all this stuff. And I got like crazy sick, like the sickest I've ever been in like the last like 10 years. I was like one of those sicks where you're like almost like it's almost like a drug trip. Like I was like hallucinating at certain points because I was all sick.
Talking to God and stuff.
Yeah, it was bad.
That happened to me after Thanksgiving. So we did Thanksgiving, Black Friday, then I was sick like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, felt okay like Tuesday, Wednesday, then got sick Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday again. It was like this weird like roller coaster stomach bug thing I had going on. But man, I was just like, I was at the point to where I was like calling the doctor, I was like, I think I'm going to die.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of people saying that like there's like a wild stomach virus going around, and it definitely hit me pretty rough.
Yeah, so I had it at Thanksgiving. You just had it this week, so that certainly took us out. But we are here. We're ready to do everyone's favorite, the old Hard Sell podcast.
That's right.
Anything you want to touch base on before we get into it? I know you had a big birthday party and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, thanks for everyone that came out. Appreciate everyone that came out to my birthday party. It was a good time. What'd you do? You went out of town for your birthday, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to Las Vegas for a couple days. Did a little gambling. Got myself out of town. You know what I mean? Just do a little head clearing for the big. Coming to terms with how old I'm getting. So, it's just one of those, I don't know. I get weird about it, I guess,
Oh yeah.
The whole, and like, I just get weird, around my birthday's 5 days before the holidays, and I just get like super weird about Christmas and all that stuff. I had a lot of death in my family in like the last 10-ish years. So like, it's just it's a very weird time for me to kind of, you got to get in like the right headspace for all that stuff. So I got out of town for a couple days and then came back and, knocked out the Christmas stuff. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's that's the weird thing about like getting older is like dealing with all these, real life problems, so to speak.
It's so weird now as we're at this age too, where the holidays, especially Christmas, is so much different for me than it used to be as far as like, I would go with my parents here and, my aunt's house and then my grandma's house, all these different places. You have like all these traditions you uphold for many years. And then, like you said, you get older and people start dying off and holidays don't happen at certain people's houses. And, now I got my own kids and stuff, my own wife. So we're going, doing family stuff that way. So we're pulled in all these different directions. And it's just, it's a lot. December is a crazy month for me.
Yeah, and like my grandma has like dementia now, so like that's like the Christmas tradition is like her house, and like she's very stubborn, like does not want to leave her house. So like, I actually moved like 2 streets over from her to kind of keep an eye on her. But like she still wants those traditions, like she doesn't forget that, she'll forget like what she had for lunch, but like she will remember stuff like that. So it like a lot of it fell on my shoulders to kind of coordinate, you know what I mean? Because she just, like she can't coordinate it. Like we're not letting her drive or any of that stuff.
Yeah. You're the middleman now.
Yeah, and like, I got to go and like make sure she gets gifts for everybody, and then I got to get gifts for everybody, and then like, you got to make sure that there's food at her house and all this stuff, so it was just, it was a lot, and like, it's, it's really tough for my grandma because, a lot of, I don't know how many people know, but like the whole generation above me has died. So, my grandmother had 4 children, all of which have died. So like that gets like really like tricky for her, like when she forgets and then she's looking like, she's like looking for my mom and stuff. And it's like, oh, it's a brutal time. It's like a brutal kind of thing, and like I gotta like be like, oh no, just open that present, just keep it moving, so to speak. But and then
Try to at least,
yeah, and then I went and saw the Iron Claw yesterday, which is like, oh man, this is just like a brutal way to spend Christmas too. Like, what a sad fucking story that is, So, but we're through the holidays, through all that stuff. And I gotta say though, I can't recommend the Iron Claw enough. Did you see it? Have you seen it?
No, and I don't really know much of the story. I know kind of a little bit about the family, but and especially like when I was a little kid, I never really delved real deep into a lot of like stories about these wrestlers. Sometimes people will like start talking about the backstories of wrestlers, and I'm just like have no idea what's going on because I never really looked into a lot of that stuff when I was younger.
I don't think I knew the story, and like still knowing the story, it's still like a really good movie. You can go into it like not knowing the story, and it's still going to be a good movie. But man, like it's just like, man, what a brutal, like just brutal story that whole family went through, and like obviously different circumstances than mine, but certainly made me think about all that stuff, like coming out of Christmas, like trying to navigate my dementia-ridden grandmother through all that stuff. And then, went and saw the Iron Claw, which, it's just all about a family dying too. So I was like, man, this maybe wasn't the best choice to wrap Christmas up. I went and saw it on Christmas Day, so.
Oh, geez.
But yeah, I was just had, just one of those things, like had some free time on Christmas Day, and I was like, I'm going to go see this movie. Like not fully processing, like, because I knew the story. So I was like, it's just, it's not going to impact you that much, but like, I was definitely shedding a couple tears in that movie theater yesterday.
Yeah, like you think because you know the story that maybe it wouldn't have affected you as much, but still, yeah, it still kind of got you.
Yeah, it got me for sure, but it's a really good movie. Cannot recommend it enough. I hope those guys win some awards.
Well, with that being said, like you said, we do want to say, happy holidays to everyone out there at AIW. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, all that stuff. But we do have a show
to
this
those who
Friday.
don't celebrate anything. Happy, Wednesday or whatever it is. We're going to release this on.
Right. And basically, it's kind of funny the way all the things we just talked about almost sounds like you'd be better off not celebrating. It sounds like December was pretty depressing for you and I.
It's not depressing. It's just like it's like you said, like just the priorities and the things change. It's just like at one point, like you're just like a kid on Christmas. Now, like you got all these different responsibilities, and it's like you just look at Christmas a little differently, I guess. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, like I said, we do
no talk boys getting handed out this year.
It definitely wasn't a Home Alone 2 Christmas for me this year. I did get one of those when that year though, when I was whatever 90, was it 98 or 97, something whatever year that was.
Yeah, I got it.
Did you get one?
So I wanted one. No, it wouldn't have been 98. It would have been like 92 or 93.
But that's when the first one came out because
they came out like back to back,
90s.
dude. It was like back to back years. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so then maybe it was like 93 or 94.
I did ask for one, and my grandmother got me one, but it was like they did like specially licensed versions of it. I just wanted the Talk Boy, and I got like a Power Rangers licensed version Talk Boy. Oh, and I thought Power Rangers was for kids. So I was like, I don't want this. What is this kid's toy? I wanted the Talk Boy from Home Alone 2, where you're fighting off bad guys.
92 it's showing here.
So I would have, so I threw that toy right down on the ground, and I said, I don't want it. I don't want this kid's toy.
Oh, that's funny.
Never got my Talk Boy.
That's good stuff. I got one. That was one of my prized possessions for many years. And I tried pulling all kinds of like pranks and shit, like on the movie, like slowing down the speed and all that shit.
Were you able to pull off some hijinks? Like,
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember if it ever actually worked. I know I tried, but I don't know if anything ever worked. But Anyways, enough about the holiday season. Like I said, we do have a show this Friday, Terror at the Temple at the Masonic Temple in Cleveland. We will be having a wrestling show, so come on out. If you haven't gotten tickets, get there, Ticketmaster. There's a link, AIWrestling.com has a link, I'm sure. Come on out and get some tickets. I know we're pretty low on premium seating. I know
from
like
what I could
row.
tell, because like they don't give us reports, so I just like a person with OCD, and so is Wadsworth, and so is Pedro. We're just constantly on the Ticketmaster website, like filtering. You know what I mean? Like, let me see if I can get 4 third rows. And like you can't. So then we go, okay, we're down to 3. Like we're doing all these like process of eliminations on the website. So if we are correct, we think that there's 1 third row ticket and 2 second row tickets left.
Okay, and another thing to be said that I know we have said this many times, if you are looking for tickets and you're looking to try and sit as close as possible, there is a filter that says like best available tickets. So there's a way to like filter it around. Definitely make sure you're looking at the filters and stuff.
Yeah, and
you're
like if you're on the email list, I tried to send out like a little like screenshot diagram, but it's just on the right hand side of the Ticketmaster website. It's like filters, and then you can click like, I want second row or third row or whatever row. It will show you all the rows that are available, and you can kind of go that way. And I know there's lots of complaints about Ticketmaster and all that. Like you guys are preaching to the choir. Like everybody is not a fan of Ticketmaster, but that's just the way of the world. Like if I said this to somebody the other day, I said if it wasn't Ticketmaster, it would be that AXS tickets, or it would be some other major ticketer, like SeatGeek or whatever, like they just, that's what they do. They get into these venues and, from what I understand is like they pay like a fee to every venue, like a huge fee for exclusivity. And like those venues take that money.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way of the world, what it is now. We're not running in UFW basements anymore. Unfortunately, that's just not
I saw
how it
somebody
is.
like complaining about taxes. It's like, dude, like, yeah, no kidding. We weren't paying taxes allegedly in 2007, like, tickets were $6, like you just can't do that. Like you can't do that anymore. Like everything has gone up, and like, dude, the fucking flights for this show are so crazy, like we're in, probably
New Year's weekend,
$7,000 just in flights. I haven't even booked the hotels yet.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, like I said, New Year's weekend, I'm sure the flights, it's not cheap. That's
I'm not
for sure.
doom and glooming everybody, so I don't want to hear your complaints in the Discord. I'm not dooming and glooming. I'm just keeping it real here. This is, things just get expensive. But yeah, I saw somebody complaining like, man, fucking taxes on these tickets. Like, dude, like, yeah. Do you pay attention to like the government? Like they hired like tons of IRS agents. Like they are like cracking down on all these, like all these income streams. Like you have to be legit. Like we have to be legit. My tax guy is not going to let us be legit. And I'm sure my tax guy. Much as I wish he was a shady tax guy, he is not. So, we actually have a big payment due in January that we have to pay to Uncle Sam. So,
do quarterly, right?
Yeah, this is just, this is just the way of the world now, like, and you're going to see more of your, kind of, I don't know, like, obscure forms of entertainment, you know what I mean? You're going to see more of that because everything is going digital. There's no like hand-to-hand ticket sales anymore for anything. So like, there's fees and taxes and all that stuff. Everything's tracked right now. So you got to be as legit as possible.
Yeah. So speaking of the show, not to doom and gloom, like you said, getting into this card a little bit here, we do have packed card. I've been saying for a while since you've been sending me some of these some of these matches. This is a packed card. We got pre-show action too. We got a couple pre-show matches. Looking Karate Cop versus Nipsey Nash and Alex Melee. Got Cisco Silver and Tyson Riggs. I call him Karate Cop versus Nipsey Nash and Alex Melee with a little pre-show action. Some of these newer students, Nipsey and Alex coming out trying to take a little swing at some of the last year's fresh meat with Tyson Riggs. I know Cisco, wasn't a fresh meat guy, but kind of newer in the AIW regime. I would say those two kind of flow well together.
Yeah, these pre-show matches it's just really, it's a way to get them a little bit of work, obviously, because we have not been able to secure, still a Thursday, or just kind of like the Thursday, whatever, you can say whatever day, you know what I mean, but like an additional kind of like bar show location where they would be able to develop. We thought that we had a good thing at Mercury Lounge. I don't know, I guess they were not happy with what went on there prior to us having a show there. And then, we did do a show there, and Shelby Wilder got hurt. So, when the owner walked in and there was an ambulance there, I think that kind of sealed their fate.
Yeah. Well, other than that, I felt like that was a pretty good show.
But, which is, it will be on Fight Plus, at the time of this, you're listening to this, but, throwing these two pre-show matches on, it's just a way to kind of get some guys some work, and it's going to kill that dead space, because we do have a Teddy Long meet and greet on Friday, as well as a Vikingo meet and greet on Friday. So, there's going to be like an hour of time. I am going to suggest that you arrive early if you want to meet either of them. I can't promise that either are going to be out during intermission. So, I would arrive early if you want to participate in those meet and greets. But we're just trying to fill that hour-ish, dead airspace, to give some of these kids some reps.
Yeah, and I mean, that was something we didn't even really mention. I forgot to even get to. We have some huge meet and greets. Teddy Long, that's a name that people been wanting to see in AIW for a long time. That's to be a great one. And then you got Vikingo coming in. I mean, we're going to get to see him wrestle as well. But, I mean, that's a guy that's been tearing up the indies in AEW as well, doing wild stuff. This show has it all. Like you said, you got pre-show action, big meet and greets, big card. If you don't have tickets, you definitely want to come out this Friday.
Yeah, and, we're not, I would say it's probably highly unlikely we're going to sell out a GA. So come one, come all this Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, the general admission is always a big party. They got, that big room has a lot of room up there, for general admission. So I wouldn't be too worried about, getting a ticket general admission or not. That should be
right.
Easy.
But I mean,
do.
there is, you are a bit removed from the ring, when you're sitting in that bowl, because there's 3 or 4. I think there's 4 rows on the floor. Mm-hmm. Plus, then that space at all those tables, and then the GA starts behind all that. So you're really starting in 6th row and going up or whatever. But yeah, we have plenty. I wish I could say that we were close to selling out the GA, but I don't think so.
I mean, that is a massive room. That's quite an accomplishment. It's a massive room. I think those seats up there are great. Yeah, you're a little removed from the ring. You're a little far off, but you can hear everything great. It's a great vantage point, viewing wise. So come on out. If you haven't gotten a ticket, grab one. Like I said, back to the pre-show match we were just talking about, Karate Cop. We've seen them tag before. We've seen kind of them have a little bit of chemistry together. They're gonna face off in a newer, and I wouldn't call them tag, obviously, because they've never tagged together. But Nipsey and Alex Melee, trained together. They graduated together. I'm sure they got some cohesiveness. It should be an interesting little tag match to start the night off.
Yeah, and like I said, this is just you got to take your spots when you can get them when you're new, like some of these guys are, and sometimes you're just kind of thrown into a makeshift tag team, just to get a rep in the ring in front of the live crowd. So, this thing's going to be a toss up, I'm sure. And then we also have Zay Garcia and Austin
AJ,
James, the Slugger. And they're gonna do some pre-show action as well, and then then we're gonna get right into the main card.
AJ, him and Vic have been going back and forth a little bit. It's interesting to see, now him and Zay, the Puerto Rican Classic, Zay Garcia, going to have a little bit of a back and forth, AJ and Zay. It'll be interesting to see, maybe Vic comes out, takes a look at that, or, maybe he should be watching that match a little closer.
Well, these guys are, these guys are kind of like the two sleeper guys from their respective classes, to where their peers, think they are incredible. The locker room, really backs both of these guys. Austin James from the fresh meat class, the year prior, and then Zay Garcia from this year's fresh meat class. So this is just kind of a meeting of those two kind of, locker room picks, so to speak, to let them go at it.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, with a card like this, as stacked as it is, sometimes there's not room for every match, but a little bit of pre-show time, like you said, with how much meet and greet is going on. So, hey, you got to take your spots where you can get them, and I'm sure both of these guys are, gonna bring everything they got to try and show why they should be on the main card.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another match. Speaking of a newer fresh meat guy and a like a locker room talent, a lot of guys saying they think that this guy's got it. Tyler Jordan and with a rematch with Josh Prohibition. Tyler Jordan, a guy who's came out and impressed a lot of people in the couple matches he's had in AIW since his debut. It's Josh Prohibition being one of those guys that he impressed so much so that they're going to run this one back. What do you think?
Yeah, they're both 1-1 right now. This is kind of the deciding factor. Obviously, Tyler Jordan is, younger, just incredible, pure athlete. I don't even think he might be only like 19 years old or 20 years old. I'm not exactly sure, but I know he's very young, and he's got a boxing background and all these different sports backgrounds. He was a Division I amateur wrestler. He just has that athletic pedigree and, certainly a ton of upside. And then there's Josh Prohibition, the 20-plus year veteran, you know what I mean? Helped train Tyler Jordan. Tyler Jordan was the only person that won at Fresh Meat, which, kind of surprised everybody. Yeah. And, Josh was able to come back and beat him. And, Tyler said, let's do it one more time. So here we are, to see, this kind of like little mini feud that has developed since Fresh Meat, to see who the better man is. And, I think both of their matchups have been really, really good. Obviously Josh is far more experienced, but, you see some glimmers of greatness when, in these matches from Tyler Jordan. You have to think he's 6 months not even 6 months into his wrestling career,
right.
Just debuted in September. So, here we are in December. And you can just see that, as the weeks go on, he continues to get better. And, I think this Friday night, will be no different. I'm sure he will have improved since, Hell on Earth.
Yeah, very excited to see the culmination of the rubber match of these two. Another match, we got a tag, a four-way tag. This is one I'm excited for. 4 tag teams that could main event any AIW show. It seems these days. Team that's came in and impressed a lot of people recently. Latino's Most Wanted versus AIW, crown champion Infinity and Beyond. These guys been around forever, held the tag titles, the creme de la creme in AIW.
Crown champions, they're going to have to trademark that, the crown champions of AIW.
And then coming in again, 2 more teams. You got Bang and Matthews. That is another tag team that has came into AIW recently and just turned a lot of heads. Have had some incredible matchups, especially with Latino's Most Wanted. And then you got AIW fan favorites, Members Only. So you got Members Only and 2 Infinity Beyond have had a huge history. You've had some matches between Latino's Most Wanted and Bang and Matthews. Let's put all 4 of these teams in the ring at the same time and see what the hell happens. And I am extremely excited for this match.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could tell you that there was like this big scientific explanation for this match, but I just really wanted to have a crazy, 4-way just AIW Classic Tag Scramble match on this show. I think the whole lineup is stacked, and it certainly needed something like this. And after that crazy 4-way tag at Hell on Earth, I just wanted to do another one, and I go through these kind of phases where, you see a lot of this stuff and then it goes away and then I bring it back. And, this is just, there's no, you know what I mean? It's just like I said last month, there's no real story here. It's, I'm taking, I'm taking the reins off and I'm just letting all these guys loose and, telling them to go nuts on Friday night. And I think that's what they're going to do. I think that's what everybody expects. And I think everybody's looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like you said, there doesn't need to be some big story with this one. I think these 4 teams is enough of a story. I think this match is going to be great. Going forward here, let me pull up the matches again here. One moment here. Window dropped out on me. Oh, speaking of tag matches, something that was, advertised as a fatal 4-way, but we've had some interesting matches with these guys thinking they're a tag team. We got Filthy Tom Lawler versus Josh Bishop versus Dom Greeny versus Shaw Mason. Now, at first, this may look like, it'd be a tag match, Filthy Tom and Josh versus Dom and Shaw Mason, 2 guys, that have been spending some time together recently in AIW, and at face value, it almost looked like this is just a straight-up tag match, but it is not. This is a fatal 4-way match. I love seeing Josh. It's not a
tag match. Everybody keeps talking about it being a tag match. It's not a tag match.
Right, correct. There's been tweets, way we're tagging. No, this is a fatal 4-way. This is not a tag match. I'm very interested to see this one because, like I said, Dom and Shaw kind of been, working together recently in AIW. You may see them have to fight each other here. Sometimes friends got to fight in this one, and this is a 4-way I'm really excited for.
Yeah, this is just taking kind of 4, guys that wrestle somewhat similar. Shaw, a little bit of the odd man out, but he's tangled with Filthy Tom quite a bit, and certainly can do that technical style. Maybe actually Josh Bishop is the odd man out in this match.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, not that I ever feel like Josh is the odd man out at anything, because I feel like he can obviously handle his own with anyone anywhere. But in this regards, with the technical kind of grappling, Tom and Dom very used to that. Shaw as well, being with the wrestling back, the professional wrestling, whatever, amateur wrestling stuff. Josh is almost the one who's kind of looking on the outside from this. I would love to see Grappler Bishop in this one. I'm excited.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen, but this is just another one of those, let's throw 4 things in the pot and see what happens, and that that's what we're going for here.
There's gonna be no wheel to spin or nothing out there.
No, nothing. No, just straight up 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1. A 4-person match. No shenanigans, no anything else. I've never approved, by the way, any of this fucking behavior. I just want to put that out there. Had no idea any of it happened the first time in Akron. The second time, it certainly was not the plan either. So it's not the plan this time either. So it's a 4-way match. That's it.
Speaking of for another 4-way, well, this is not a 4-way. It's a straight up tag match. This one I'm pretty excited for. I know a lot of AIW has a lot invested in this match, and that is the production. Derek Dillinger and Katie Arquette versus Magnum CK and Ziggy Haim. This is
who could also be called the production.
I was going to say they were trying to come up with a name. I know Magnum tweeted, come up with a name for this, and they were trying to come up with a tag team name. Excuse me. I don't know what they settled on, but there could be Production 1 versus Production 2. There could be a lot of things this match could be called, but I'm extremely excited to see where this feud and where this kind of storyline has gone and where it's going to take us in the future.
Yeah, I think, this one developed rather quickly to end Hell on Earth. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, get on the Triller Plus app, Triller TV Plus, I think it's called now.
Yeah,
still have not gotten an official memo on what
I was going to say. I know we didn't mention anything, but they've never even said anything to you. Fight Plus is now Triller TV is what I'm being told or seeing it.
Yeah, I guess so. Nothing's been said to me. But I'm just going by what I see. So we're on the Triller TV Plus app powered by Fight.
I think if you type in Fight, if you're looking,
it's still all the same stuff, but they're just they changed the branding for whatever reason. But nonetheless, get on the Triller TV Plus app and watch our most recent Hell on Earth event And you will see this this production thing exploded to conclude the night here. And that's what brought us to this intergender tag team matchup this Friday night.
So that will be the main event, is what you're saying?
No.
Oh, okay. You said to conclude the night. I was like, wait a minute.
At Hell on Earth, the night concluded.
Okay. Yeah, I misunderstood that. I'm sorry. I was going to say that's the main. Okay, wow. I was going to say, wow. Okay. I was gonna say I know we got a big 10-man tag here that I would have assumed is the main event, but you never know, Thorne. So it confused me a little bit there. Sorry. But yeah, that match, like you said, I'm extremely excited to see. Because there's so many possibilities that can happen from this match. You got past production members. Maybe future production. Who knows? There's a lot at stake at this match. I think
the writer strike is over.
We're making movies out here, so you never know what's going to happen. Going forward, a big match on the card. We got a name that an AIW debut, I believe. This is a debut in Mike Speedball Bailey versus an AIW up-and-comer, Dex Royal.
Yeah, I was just I had locked Speedball in sometime in November and really didn't know what to do with him. And I was watching that scramble at Hell on Earth, and Mikey and Dex did that crazy just jump at each other in midair thing.
Yeah.
And that whole match was crazy. But I went, you know what? I think I'm gonna do Speedball versus Dex. Nobody's gonna see that one coming.
It's definitely something you're only going to see at AIW. Speedball, a guy that's been all over the Indies, big name. He's been on the Indies for a while, but a big name that you've been seeing appear all over.
He's in Impact Wrestling or TNA Wrestling, whatever they call it now.
Right. So, of course, we're going to bring him into AIW, and I like the idea of putting him up against Dex. I'm sure there's a lot of AIW, roster members who would have loved the opportunity, but like you said, I think this is something you're only going to see here at AIW. Dex, a guy who has came in and climbed the ladder of AIW extremely quick, in my opinion. The guy is insane, does some insane stuff. Big talent, in my opinion.
I think he's just got like a. I think he's kind of like what I was talking about Tyler Jordan a little bit. Dex Royal is just like a raw talent. Like there are a lot of tools there. You know what I mean? He's just got to get in there with people. And they gotta, they gotta fine tune him a little bit. He's got all the tools to make it work. They just gotta, he's got to get in there with more experienced people, and figure out, where he's gonna fit in and how to make everything click together. But he's deceivingly very big. He's a very tall guy. Very agile, just fucking nuts, just goes for it every time. Wadsworth was telling me, I don't know what the details are, but I guess he played professional basketball somewhere. I assume not the NBA, but, somewhere else. Definitely has that athletic background. And, I'm excited to kind of, let him loose and, see what happens when he gets in there with, someone the caliber of Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be a great one. Going forward, we have a Lucha four-way here. This one I'm extremely, extremely excited for. You got Mikey Montgomery, the Blonde Blur, versus Trey Lamar, versus Gringo Loco, AIW beloved Gringo Loco, the Bass God, versus the AIW debuting El Hijo del Vikingo. Now, this dude is all over. I mean, there was a point in time where this guy was so big, you couldn't even stream his matches. They went dark for some of his matches on the indies for a little while because this guy was so popular and so wanted.
That's all part of his contract terms. He is signed to AAA, and they quickly kind of changed that. So, this will stream. All those rules are, null and void.
Right.
At this point, but. Yeah, I'm just I'm really excited for this one. Again, like not a lot that needs to be said. Vikingo's reputation speaks for itself. Gringo Loco, considers AIW to be the first place to give him a shot. He obviously one of the busiest independent wrestlers on the planet right now. The guy's wrestling all over the world. And all over the country, and he's booked solid. So, you're not going to see him that often, but whenever we can make it work, we do, and he likes coming back, at least once or twice a year if he can make it happen. And we're able to get him in here this Friday night. And Trey and Mikey, still relatively young in their wrestling careers. They want to get to where those two guys are at, and that's kind of the story of this match. Is it's two guys that are two of the most elite wrestlers on the planet against two guys who I think are probably two of the most elite wrestlers in Northeast Ohio that want to get to that level of being two of the most elite on the planet. And much like the Tyler Jordan match or the Dex Royal match, this is another example of you gotta throw people into the deep end of the pool with the sharks and see if they're going to survive. And that's what we're doing here with Trey and Mikey.
Yeah, I mean, Mikey has been on a bit of a winning streak, lately in AIW. If you watched any of those, after the show, we have our promos, the AIW, I'm not sure what we're calling that anymore, AIW TV or whatever it is, but,
Mikey's called Backstage Pass right now.
Okay, Backstage Pass. Mikey's definitely looking, he said he's rolling some wins together, looking to turn this into something big in AIW. So, you take those last couple wins, he beats these three guys. That's huge for him. Trey Lamar coming back after not being around for a little while. This is a win that could put him, propel him up to the higher rankings of AIW. So I think there may not be a huge storyline, involved in this one, but I think there's a lot that rides on it, especially for Trey and Mikey.
Yeah, no doubt. These guys. This is that's kind of the story of AIW. It's like, we're trying to make new players in the game, and we've done it over the years, and we're trying to continue to develop these new talents. And I think Mikey and Trey are certainly two guys that are on the cusp of being able to hang with anybody. Mm-hmm. But you got to see, you know what I mean? You got to throw them in there with these elite performers and see how they do. I've seen some of the best prospects on the planet just fucking crumble under that pressure.
Yeah.
So, but the only way to know is to know. You got to get in there and you got to find out. So that's what we're going to see a lot on Friday night. You know what I mean? You can say that about the 4-way tag, with members only, and Latinos. There's a lot of young versus new across this whole card.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's kind of an AIW thing. I think we've been doing that a lot. Sometimes maybe if there's not a huge storyline that's progressed with it, like say a production, versus production match or something like that, or some of these matches may not have, like you said, a big pomp and story, whatever, but they have underlyings of what AIW is built on. And that's next man up, building these bigger superstars from within the company. And this is a huge opportunity.
It's told next man up, and I think I said that wrong. It's like, it's not young versus new, but it's it's new and young versus kind of like established and young. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of big time veterans. Like outside of your Josh Prohibitions and your two Infinity Beyonds, but like there are super young, established, just young veterans that are coming in, and you see it all across the card, working with new up and coming, like you said, next man up kind of mentality.
Yeah. This next match, you sent the graphic to me as almost like a birthday present. I can't wait for this one. This is the bad boy Joey Janela versus the blue collar brawler Kaplan. I absolutely cannot wait for the car crash that will be this match. There is not too much that needs to be said about this match.
This is my AIW dream match. I'll never forget. I'll never forget. I don't even know where it was, but it was months ago, at the very least, maybe over a year ago. But I was somewhere and I was sitting in a bar with Joey Janela, and he's just like, when am I going to wrestle Kaplan? That's the one. And I go, that's my dream match. He says, I want it. He's like, I think that's the match. He's like, that's the AIW match, is Joey Janela versus Kaplan. And I go, dude, that's my dream match. It just hasn't lined up yet, and it finally fell into place. And I thought it was going to fall apart, that's why it didn't get announced, because Joey was dealing with some eye issues, and finally on Christmas Eve, he said that things are have turned the corner, and he'll be good to go for this Friday night. So I was like, okay. And he didn't know that was the match, and he probably forgot that when he was drunk in a bar he requested this match.
Yeah,
because then when he saw it in the middle of the night, he just quote tweeted it, LOL.
Yeah, this is going to be one, like I said, even if you don't know too much about either of these guys or too much about AIW or whatever, this is one, just the graphic to me jumps out. I think this is going to be quite a story to tell between these two, and I personally can't wait. Bring your money for jerky. I'm sure Kaplan's trying to sell that. Jerky is getting the end of the year money in there for New Year's and all that stuff. But yeah, this one I'm extremely excited for. So thanks for that birthday present. I appreciate that.
Yeah, hey, man. I mean, this is the one. Like, it can either be good or it could be bad. But even if it's bad, it's going to be good, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I was going to say I don't think there's any way it could be bad, in my opinion, because I just think it's it's going to be.
But you know what I mean? Like, even if it's bad, it's going to be car crash bad, which is going to make it good.
Right. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, yeah, no matter what, it's just going to be just absolute chaos. So, and then our final match of the night, I will assume is our main event, is a Terror at the Temple 10-man tag. We have on one side the Duke, Eric Taylor, Big Chuck Stone, and Money Shot, Elijah Dean and Zach Nystrom versus PME, Marino Tenaglia and Philadelphia Collins versus Big Sam Holloway, with Big Sam Holloway and Wes Barkley and your absolute champion Isaiah Broner. So it's those five versus those five. This thing got set up at the end of Hell on Earth after all the melee that happened there. I know Big Sam's been wanting a piece of some of these guys for a bit. Isaiah Broner definitely wants a piece of the Duke, I know. PME, I'm sure, looking to get a piece of the Money Shot, trying to get back in the tag title picture, all that stuff. And then you got Wes with his belt. It's double belt holders versus, J-Lit winner and Hoss Boot champion and Bill Alfonso hardcore champion. So you got a lot of gold in this match. Gold versus gold on it, and all kinds of, players.
Yeah,
I mean,
match. every championship, even the not recognized Golden Boot Championship.
Yeah, it's recognized. Come on now.
is in this match. This is just your classic good versus evil, good guys versus the bad guys. Falls count anywhere, anything goes. One fall to a finish. This is just going to be, it's Terror in the Temple. It's funny. We came up with this as like a working title like months and months ago. And then we were trying to figure out like something else to call it, and I just went, we're just gonna call Terror at the Temple. Like fuck it. Like this one's been building for a while, and this is the marquee match of the night. Another reason why we bumped things to the pre-show. I assume that this one is going to take up quite a bit of time. You know what I mean? 5-on-5, all over the building. Stuff like that. So yeah. There's not a lot to say. This one, if you've been following AIW, that this, all these people have been kind of, crossing paths over the last, 6 or so months. And, let's just, again, we're throwing it all in the pot and we're mixing it up and we're going to see what happens. 5-on-5, Terror at the Temple. I think it's a good way to end the year. You know what I mean? You have all, kind of the major players in AIW, so to speak, all getting in that main event, at the last show of the year, which, I tweeted this the other day. I don't really look at it like the last show of the year. I'm looking at this as like the first show of 2024. I'm hoping that this show can just propel, some momentum our way, as we head to Akron in February and beyond, and kind of, get that, get the train back on the tracks. You know what I mean? We have, we've had kind of like a up and down year, like success, like nothing's really failed, but there's been some, obviously some bad nights at the office and some good nights at the office, but we're hoping that this card can kind of, realign everything and, especially with this main event and kind of, shoot us into 2024 and, kind of ride the lightning, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's not a lot that has to be said about this match, but I mean, there's so much that could with, 5-on-5. There's so much going on with this match. There's a lot of implications. A lot of guys that have, got some feuds going. A lot of guys that got a little bit of beef. Hopefully we don't see any, inter-team, rivalry fights, spring up. So there's a lot that could happen in this match. I think this is a great main event. There's going to be, like you said, we're going to need a lot of time for this one. There's going to be fighting all over the building. So get your tickets. Come on out this Friday, December 29th, 7:30 p.m. bell time. Doors will be 6 or 6:30 since we have the meet and greet. We open a little earlier.
Yeah, I think people could get there at 6, and that would be a safe bet. I don't know. I'm just going to say it right now. Like, I don't know what they're going to do if they're charging for parking, not charging for parking. They seem to go like, you know what I mean? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't know what they have in those other rooms, but
I think it all has to do with what else is going on in the building. Yeah.
Right. So, just putting it out there right now. Like, we have no control over that. We have said our piece on the matter and what we would prefer, which is to not have charging for parking, but just be prepared. I'm just putting it out there in advance so everybody knows. We don't know what it's going to be, so expect the unexpected. That's the only way that you can look at it. Uber, things like that. Just try to get down there early. I know that there's like a hotel, like an abandoned hotel over there with some parking in it, and the children's museum. There's all kinds of different places down there, but
I was going to say,
I would recommend just try to get down there around 6 if you can. You know what I mean, so you're not rushing around. You can get through the ticketing process, get into those meet and greet lines, see those pre-show matches, and I don't know if we're having an after party. I haven't, to be honest, it hasn't even crossed my mind. So I don't know if there's anywhere official to go. I could, reach out to Steve Guy or Coach and see if they got any, kind of lines in the water on that. But it's one of those things, the after party thing slipped my mind until I just said it right now, to be honest.
If you have a place you'd like us to go for an after party, or a business that would be interested in doing any type of sponsorship, hit up Jim at aiwrestling.com. He'll take care of you over there. We're always looking for sponsors or places to go after party. If you know a bar that's in the greater Cleveland area that's looking to host us afterwards, we always bring a huge crew of people ready to hang out and drink and eat. So definitely get in touch with us if you are looking to do that. But yeah, other than that, no real questions supposed. We haven't been doing this for a bit, but like I said before, we're a professional wrestling company, not a professional podcast company. So as long as we keep putting out wrestling shows, I think we're okay, right?
I know. I like to get the podcasting going, and
I try.
I think after we get done on Friday, we'll have time. We're off all of January, so we could probably figure out place to meet up and knock out some of these things. Maybe we'll shake down somebody with a nice 85-inch television in their living room, so we can go sit at their condo and record some podcasts
before the Rumble or something. Yeah.
Right. So, I think we'll be able to get back on track. I'm slowly kind of getting things rolling on my end. I had that flood over the summer, and I had all this shit just piled up in my office space, and finally got it all kind of organized, and I have I have this office space again to where I have a place to go. We can podcast and do all this stuff and get back on track. But I mean, it was it was just fucking a mess for 3 months. So
all of 2023 was pretty fucking crazy for me, if I'm being honest with you. I moved twice. I got all kinds of shit going on.
My car got stolen. My
remember that
roof,
saga?
My roof collapsed. Just all kind. It was a very tumultuous year for John Thorne in 2023. Hopefully 2024 is a little less stressful.
Yeah, man, I was just thinking of all the different shit. Oh, and that happened in 2023. There was a lot between losing venues, new venues, roofs collapsing, cars being stolen,
Getting kicked out of venues, getting to go back to the same venue.
Yeah,
Venues raising their rent. Man, Ticketmaster. Like, there's just been a lot. There's been a lot.
Yeah, it has been a year for AIW, that's for sure. But
you know what's crazy too? I just realized is like the Odeon still never reopened. Like, it's been a year since we got kicked out of the Odeon with like a week and a half notice to move the show all the way to Akron.
Yep.
And like, it's still never reopened. They were like, oh yeah, it's going to be open again in like 3 months, 4 months. Nothing.
So much for that, yeah.
Yeah, like, good thing we didn't wait around, you know? But like, that's the thing is like, there are no Cleveland venues like that. Like, I have inquired like with other major venues who want like fucking basically some people's yearly salaries for a one night rental. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just everything's just fucking so expensive. And I know I'm preaching to the choir and everyone's dealing with it. And, you know, it's like, this is like an extra entertainment thing that they, you know, that they can do with disposable income, but it is just it's very hard to do at this level with the price of travel and hotel. Like, dude, a fucking hotel in Cleveland should not be $120 for like the fucking shitty hotel that you know probably has you know people living inside of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Hotels that were once $40 a night in Cleveland are now like $135 plus tax and shit, and you're like, when did this happen?
2-star fucking hotel.
Yeah,
you know, like, it's just it's crazy. And then the last place they put Tom, which is like been a regular place, like. They just said that they don't have an airport shuttle anymore. It broke down and they're not fixing it. So like, it's advertised as like airport shuttle. You can't fucking do it. Cleveland's just a fucking mess, man.
Which, and I mean, at face value, maybe doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you think about it, then that makes your talent have to either take an Uber or like a shared ride, which is no less than $30 to $40 to Cleveland International. I mean, Hopkins, the Uber charge is at least $40. Or, you know, a student's got to wake up at 5 a.m. and take time or pick time. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it because, you know, he doesn't have a car. He's flying in. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like he can just drive to the airport.
It's just inconvenient and just drives the expenses up. You know, I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom or whatever, but, you know, it is like, I just want people to understand that, like, this isn't like fun and games, you know, for us to do. Like, it's like a real business that costs a lot of money, and far more money goes out than comes in, you know, like we've lost a considerable amount of money in 2023. So, you know, we're just trying to find our sweet spot to where, you know, we can continue to offer it at a high level and, you know, get our expenses down, you know what I mean? Get your expenses down. Like, but it's been tough, you know? So like, I'm hoping something's got to give, you know, in 2024 to where, you know, you see some of this stuff come down. But, you know, like, I mean, anybody with a credit card knows that those rates are always fucking, they've been changing and going up. And, you know, when you got to throw all this stuff down on a credit card and hope the money comes in, like it's, you know, it's kind of a scary proposition. We've been able to survive. You know, I don't want you to, you know, like I said, I'm not being all doom and gloom and complainy. You know, we've been able to survive and, you know, we're getting by. But, you know, you just never know with how things are going. So that's why we hope that, you know, we can get a lot of GAs in there on Friday night and, you know, the venue will be happy, you know, we'll be able to, you know, kind of, my goal is, I just hope that we could hit that break even point. You know, I'm sure we have quite a ways to go, especially since I haven't booked the hotels yet. But, because I'm hoping that they go down in price, to be honest. But yeah, you know, we just, you know, we're gonna try to figure it out. And that's also why we're taking January off, you know, like just giving everybody a fucking breather.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We've had a lot, like a tumultuous 2023, and getting a little month breather there in January to come back bigger and stronger than ever in 2024 in Akron is gonna be a big one. I mean, we got Stan Hansen in February, for God's sakes.
Front row has already sold out for that. Just
not surprised.
FYI. So hop on those seconds because those are going too. But yeah, it'll be nice to take January off and like fucking recharge the batteries a little bit. And, I'm sure it's going to change, things pop up, but like, and I say it every year, but like I am trying to fucking throttle back on the schedule a little bit next year. And it'll be like, if we're in Akron, then we're in Cleveland the next month and, then back, like trying to kind of split the difference, about 6 in each market. Nothing on the books for Youngstown. We did have a venue that claimed they were interested, and now they're not interested.
Cowards.
West Side Bowl got like a little weird, so I haven't even reached out to them after the last kind of endeavor. But yeah, so right now it's just there's like 12 dates on the books. 6 in Cleveland, 6 in Akron, and you never know. Like, I don't know. We haven't heard from, the Geek Fest people or Wadsworth people or North Canton yet. So, you have those kind of 3 X Factor things for the summer and then, whatever else might pop up. But as of right now, it's kind of a light schedule. And, we are still trying to find that Thursday bar location sort of thing. So, ideally, if we did find something, we would do a bar show when we're in Akron. You know what I mean? Like we would double up those months, and then, but again, you just never know how it's going to go. If you want to see us back at the Mercury Lounge, reach out to them because we certainly have tried and to no avail. So that's that.
Yeah, let them know.
Or the Winchester or any other Orma Halls. Any of these little bars with enough space to where we can do some stuff. Like it's that stuff's really just to get the kids from the academy, kind of, working out their stuff. And, it's like, like a comedian doing an open mic night or something, like
right.
They got to work their material out, and they need to do it in front of people. And that's what we're trying to lock down.
Yeah, so if you know a place or a sponsor, anything like that, jim@aiwrestling.com. Give them an email, and we'll try to work it out with you guys. Anything else you want to get to before we get out of here, John?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. Let's pack it on Friday nights. I think GA tickets $20. I think you can go down to the actual box office on Thursday. They claim that they're open on Thursdays to avoid fees, or at least the majority of the Ticketmaster fees. Call the Temple Live box office, figure that out if you're trying to avoid that stuff. And if not, hopefully we see everybody on Friday. I would love to get 500 plus in there Friday night. We're probably far away from that. So, I'm hoping for a big run this week and a huge walk up on Friday. I mean, Teddy Long's in town, Vikingo, Gringo Loco, Joey Janela. You know what I mean? It's just a stacked talent lineup. So, we're doing this to kind of, end the year strong and give back to the fans for supporting us all year. We're certainly going, like a J-Lit level of, imported talent for this show. So I just hope, everyone appreciates it and comes out and supports it this Friday night.
Yeah, come on out, have a beverage, pack the place, show up early. I've heard there's a lot of parking hacks to say, ask around. There's a lot of lots, ask anyone standing in line, hey, where'd you guys park? Because from what I'm told, there's a lot of little lots all around there that you can kind of get into that are not expensive, sometimes free and all that. So ask around, come in early, show up, have a couple beverages, and have some fun with us this Friday. We'll see everybody Friday. Thanks.
That was a weird way to end it, huh?
I didn't know. I thought you were going to say something, and I didn't want to cut you off. Come on out and drink a beer.
That's letting you take it home.
Yeah. Well, for me, for AIW, for John Thorne, we'll see everybody this Friday. Thanks, guys.
Try it one more time.
Thanks.
Give me a whole go home right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hard sell.
Hard sell. Get your tickets. Get at Ticketmaster.com. Show up early. Get there. Get some parking. Get a beer. Get some pizza. Anything we got out there. Show up early. Get your meet and greet with Teddy Long, Vikingo. Let's have some fun this Friday, December 29th at the Temple. We'll see everybody. For AIW, for John Thorne, for myself, thanks.
All right, that was a little better, but I'm going to leave all of them in. So this ends very weird.
Transparent over here.
Just less work for me to do.
Sure, Ed. Don't bother me none.